Am I the butthole for full-on raging at my parents after they spent £1,300 of my money for my brother's gaming PC set? Edit. As stated in the many comments, I've now notified my bank about my financial situation and reported to them that my money has been stolen. I'm now awaiting a reply. As for the PC, I've searched for the receipt everywhere but I still cannot find it. I'll keep searching though. Thank you for your positive messages. For a bit of context, around a year and a half ago, when I was 15, I came up with a plan to pay for my own university fees once I finish school. It's a little expensive, between the 4 to 5 figure range, and my family isn't the richest one, so I wish to save my parents the trouble of paying and do everything myself. I plan to save up enough money until I can invest in some cheap land back in my hometown and hopefully earn lots. I told my parents this and they seemed pretty okay, at least to me, with my plan. So I began working part-time and worked my socks off. So in those 1.5 years, I saved up around 30,000 lira, which is like £3,000, could have been a lot more but COVID, without spending a single penny. Now here's where the problem began. My younger brother had his 13th birthday yesterday and he always wanted to have his own gaming PC set. My parents always told him that they couldn't afford it, which makes him sad. One day, I forgot to bring my wallet with me when I was going to school, which has my bank card in it. When I came back, I saw a new gaming PC set right in the middle of the living room, half unboxed, and my brother crying and jumping around in ecstasy. I was happy for him, since I thought they actually managed to buy it themselves, until I found out shortly after that almost half my saved up money was gone. Yes, we all know each other's bank card passwords. I was fuming and lost my crap at my parents, demanding why the F did you spend the money I worked hard for? My parents apologized, but noted that they just couldn't tell their son that they couldn't afford his dream set when there was money available. I screamed at them and said that they'd just stole £1,400 right under my nose without even considering asking me and that they both owe me big time. My mum snapped back at me, saying that I'm still a child belonging to them and that money should be the last thing on my mind at the moment. It was a back and forth argument and I admit, I used some colorful language there, before my mum went on a power trip and yelled at me to remember who I'm talking back to. I just stomped off in anger. Some of you Redditors may think that £1,300 isn't a lot in the real world, but I've worked so hard after school and even on weekends to get this much, and for it to be half gone in an instant is a heartbreak for me. But, I think I regret some of the things I've said to them, especially when all they were trying to do was to make my brother happy. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. Call your bank and report the money as stolen. I think it's harder to dispute if they used his PIN. If it was family and they used the PIN number, I'm fairly certain he has no shot unless he makes a police report. Banks do not allow you share your PIN number, even with family and spouses, and if your family misuses that private information, that is unfortunately on you. Edit. As some have pointed out, the card could have been used online using the card number and the 3 numbers on the back. Not all bank cards can do this, and unfortunately has the same problem. If your family used your card, even without your consent, there often isn't anything they can do without a police report. Also, neither of these mean don't try, absolutely try, and just know that they may ask you to file a police report or they will drop the investigation. Out of interest, I wonder if this is also true considering that original poster is a minor. Obviously it depends on their country and the type of account, but this could be a loophole to get the money back. Either way, it would probably be worth reporting the card as stolen and the charges as fraudulent anyway. Most places in the US, can't speak for ops location, being a minor would make it even more okay by bank standards because they need an adult to be a joint owner on all minors' accounts. That essentially gives the parents equal rights to the kids' money, regardless of who deposited it. If he was in the US, filing a police report against them would probably be the only way to go, and obviously that's not a real option if he still lives with and relies on them. Oh. For sure. My mom was on my college checking account because I opened it at 16 to save money. Back in those days there were no high school/college student specific accounts. So it was just a basic joint checking account. I get my first job post-college. Don't really think about it at all. Bank gets bought out by a certain big name bank. Mom goes in to apply for a small line of credit for her business. Banker proceeds to try to convince her to take all the money out of my account instead. She tells him that it's not her money to take, it's mine. And obviously I need my money to pay my bills. He proceeds to spend 20 minutes trying to convince her to take all the money out of my account. Because it's legally yours. You won't get in trouble with the law. And that's the biggest reason I'll never use Wells Fargo again. There's a good episode of Dirty Money about Wells Fargo. They're trying to advertise that they've changed now, but for a long time some truly predatory behaviors were encouraged all the way up the ladder there. Wells Fargo are still buttholes. I'm not sure it's better, but I just changed to Chase. I hate Wells Fargo with an undying passion. What was that, about 2 years ago, when that story came out that they opened accounts for customers without the person's knowledge? Well, my grandmother was one of them. They claimed she had overdrawn her account by $200. When the customer service agent relayed the last 4 digits of the account number to my grandmother, it didn't match the ones for her checking or savings. My grandmother is still getting calls about this account. They threatened that they would close other accounts of hers if she didn't satisfy this debt. The problem is, my mom is a signer on my grandmother's account and her power of attorney. That means they would eliminate my mom's account, too. Whatever you do not give your business to Wells Fargo. This is not legal advice and will not create an attorney-client relationship. This information is solely for educational purposes. If you need help, please find an attorney near you. Do not state private confidential information on a public forum such as Reddit. Are you in the US? There is a fun little federal statute called the FPA which could help. Most attorneys will represent you for just the filing costs/consultation fee, which is about $400. But that might help your grandmother and get her some extra cash. I hate Wells Fargo with an undying passion. Same. I think they target the elderly specifically. My mom, who lives on disability, had $3,000 just vanish from her account. The money was accidentally transferred to another account. The transfer overdrafted her account and Wells Fargo then closed her account. When she tried to reclaim her money, they told her she didn't have an account with them. It took her over 6 months to get the money back, and the only reason she did was because she was still getting paper statements. When she tried to do anything online, it would tell her the account was closed. Cal 30 number. What a scam they have going. Wife worked for them just like all banks, shady as crap. I'm not surprised. There's no local banks in my area, just the big guys, and I need convenient ATM access, and there's a Chase branch 5 minutes away, less the way I drive. Worked at Wells Fargo. Can confirm they're pieces of money-hungry crap. I was let go after being diagnosed with MS and using up most of my sick days, but not before I was told I was using my sick days too fast, and instead of automatically having them in the future like the other employees, I'd need to earn them as I worked. I couldn't even walk, and they framed it as vacation days were meant to be used for fun things, not sick days? Never mind the fact they pushed up selling crap people didn't need. Our store manager made us ask every single customer if they wanted a blah blah account. Even customers we'd asked before, who got angry at us for asking. And if we didn't meet our sales quotas, we were put on probation and eventually let go. I have so many horror stories from that piece of crap bank. I worked there too and can confirm everything you said. The attendance policy is garbage, and they force the employees to upsell credit cards/lines of credit to pretty much everyone. Find a way to get the yes is something my supervisor would often say, and if you don't meet quota then you're out the door. I also missed time because of a medical condition, had paperwork from my doctor, and they still fired me because of missed days. They are heartless, money-hungry asshats that don't care about their customers or employees. They refused to take me off of the joint account with my abusive ex without him present. I didn't want to close the account or anything, just remove myself from it. They suck. Same, and I lived in a different state entirely. When I closed my multiple Wells Fargo accounts about 5 years ago, the bank rep asked me why, and I said, "You must know your company is evil," and he just nodded and went on with the process. My son started his account as a minor with me on the account. When he turned 18, he was in college, and I used that access to transfer money to him. He's now in his 30s and I'm still on the account, but never look at the balance/transactions, never mind taking money. I have to go to the bank with him to delete me, which we'll be doing as soon as it's safe to do so. This is the same arrangement I have with my dad. Though as a disabled adult he's still helping support me, and has helped me so much financially that I intend to keep things as they are. Once I'm able to support myself, I'll be able to pay him back in kind without worrying about transfer fees and the like. Though he doesn't want financial repayment, he tells me the best way to pay him back is just to succeed. All of these Am I the Butthole posts make me feel even more fortunate that I have such a great father. Wells Fargo is the reason I lost my very first house. They can kick rocks. Can't speak for Ops location, considering they said lira when talking about money. It's a fair estimate to say it's in Turkey. Not the butthole, by the way. Isn't lira also a unit of money in Italy? But either way, it's definitely not in the US or they would have used dollar. Edit: I looked it up and Italy uses euros now, but used to use lira. It was until 2001, but Italy is part of the Eurozone. Lamau not since like the 90s. But used to use lira. That I did not know. I knew they used euros but didn't know what they used pre-euro. I think it's Turkey. This is true. He could report the card as stolen and they go to the bank saying it was fraudulent. It'll take time, but I believe this'll work. So, you're telling original poster to commit fraud after having been essentially robbed by his parents? The situation sucks, and the parents are awful for what they did, but getting original poster to commit fraud to negate the result is not okay in my book. Two wrongs do not make a right. It wouldn't be fraud. The card was stolen, used and returned to avoid notice, all while original poster was distracted. Op is a minor, they have the address the computer was delivered to his own, usually have to file a police report on family member to get that money back. It's a lost cause. Not the butthole, by the way. Not the butthole, your parents committed a crime. You should tell them either return it or they're going to get charged with a crime. That's such bullcrap. I'm fuming just reading this. Change your bank card too. If they were willing to do this, it wouldn't surprise me if they wrote down that information. Sadly, it generally isn't a crime for a parent to steal their under 18 child's money. And in Turkey this is most definitely the case. Especially as the parents have access to the account and know the password/PIN. Original poster has no legal recourse to get the money back. It's going to have to be a harsh lesson that he can't trust family and can't let them know his financial situations now or in the future. Could you say, because Op's money was used then the PC belongs to Op? Hence if something unfortunate happened to the PC, then there's no legal action the parents could take against Op? Nope. Basically any money original poster has belongs to the parents to spend as they want. It's basically reliant on an honor system and assuming most people don't have trash parents who will take a child's money. It's why the only real recourse is to try hide the money until he's old enough that they can't just legally take it. This is the case for most countries in the world. The only exceptions are for specific trusts or custodial accounts set up to safeguard the money. A child can't set those up themselves though. It's more for money given to them by other adults, such as an inheritance or maybe a college fund set up by a third party, like an aunt or uncle, etc. What a dire state of affairs. And then no wonder kids invest into crypto, because their parents just won't understand how to withdraw that anyway. I'm curious which countries you are referring to. I work for a major Canadian bank, and a 15-year-old can absolutely have their own bank account that isn't joint with their parents, in which case we wouldn't even be allowed to confirm that the account exists to their parents, let alone allow the parents to access the funds. In the Netherlands you have to be 18 to open a bank account that isn't a joint bank account with the parents. Before someone turns 18, the parents can keep an eye on what their child is spending their money on. Luckily, most parents here don't steal money from their children. They just keep an eye on the bank account, making sure their child learns how to save money and isn't spending it on bullcrap mainly. I'm currently 25 and my mom still has access to my bank account lol. But I trust her completely since my parents make enough money anyway, and since I have it's nice to have an extra set of eyes keeping track of my money. Actually, if a Dutch parent takes money from their child's account in bad faith, they are breaking the law. They are allowed to prevent their minor child from accessing the funds, but that does not mean that they are entitled to the money on their own. We're not inherently a less abusive folk, our law is just very specific here. It's so strange to read endless stories about this on Reddit, while living in a country where it is very against the law for parents to take money that belongs to their children. Banks usually do not allow the names of parents to be on accounts, and even if they would not own any money that their child had worked for or been given. They have some say in matters regarding the control of money, but they have no ownership over any of it. It does not stop some parents from stealing from their children after birthdays and such, but at least it's always a cut and dry case of theft, and no one would think of calling it anything else. I can't really get into the headspace where it can be argued that something one person worked for and deposited into an account can become the property of another. I think it's a real shame because our system is very simple. This is only partially true. There are laws against spending your minor child's money earned at a job. There had to be because of children actors. A certain amount can be used for the well-being of the child, but the rest is supposed to remain untouched. You can't take all of your kids' money earned at a job because that is actually completely illegal. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.